Ladies and gentlemen, there are mysteries in life that go far beyond the physical world we see every day. Money is not just currency, not just paper, not just coins, not just numbers in a bank account. It is energy, it is influence, and it is a powerful servant that can either build or destroy. But today, I want you to understand something deeper. Why angels move when you speak to money. Money is often viewed in a very limited way, as if it were simply currency, coins in a pocket, notes in a wallet, or numbers in a bank account. But in truth, money carries a much deeper meaning and power that most people overlook. It is not only a tool of exchange, it is energy, influence, and a force that responds to how you think, feel, and speak about it. When you only look at money as a physical object, you miss the spiritual dimension it carries. This is why so many people struggle financially. They treat money as if it has no connection to their inner world, their words, or the spiritual laws that govern life. But money is more than currency. It is a servant designed to obey authority, and that authority is expressed through what you say and how you believe. Consider this: everything in life has both a visible and an invisible side. The visible side is what you can touch, see, and count. The invisible side is the energy, the intention, and the spiritual influence behind it. Take seeds as an example. A farmer can hold seeds in his hand, which is the visible side, but inside that seed is invisible potential, the life force that grows into a tree or harvest. Money functions the same way. The bills and coins are visible, but what gives them power is the invisible force attached to them. That is why two people can hold the same amount of money, yet one multiplies it while the other loses it. The difference is not the currency itself, but the energy and authority they release over it. Money is influenced by the words we speak, because words are not empty, they are spiritual commands. When someone says, "I never have enough money, money runs from me, I can't handle my bills," they are unconsciously programming their financial atmosphere. Their words build resistance, and instead of drawing money toward them, they push it away. On the other hand, when someone declares, "Money serves me, money multiplies in my life, money comes from expected and unexpected places," they are releasing a spiritual authority that sets angels in motion to align resources, opportunities, and connections. This is why money is more than just currency. It is a living servant that listens to the voice of authority spoken over it. Understanding this truth requires a mindset shift. Most people grow up being taught to fear money, to chase it, or to treat it as something that slips away. But if you see it only as numbers, you will continue to live limited. The moment you realize that money carries a spiritual assignment, you begin to treat it differently. You begin to speak with authority because you understand that money is not your master. It is your servant. It does not command you, you command it. This shift gives you confidence, peace, and clarity about finances. You stop chasing money and start attracting it because your words and mindset align with divine principles. Think about how successful people often describe money. They don't talk about it with fear or resentment. They see it as a tool, a servant, something that works for them. That perspective is what allows them to multiply it. The spiritual dimension is always working, whether you are aware of it or not. When you understand that money is energy and responds to authority, you unlock a higher level of financial flow. Angels, who are messengers and servants of divine law, respond to the authority of words. When your words line up with truth and faith, they ensure that money fulfills its assignment in your life. The conclusion is simple: money is not just paper or coins. It is more than currency. It is an instrument of influence, a force of energy, and a spiritual servant waiting to be commanded. If you treat it as lifeless, it will remain lifeless in your life. But if you recognize its spiritual dimension, speak with authority, and command it with faith, you will see it respond. This is why the first and most important principle is understanding that money is more than what you see. It is not the master. It is the servant. It is not the end. It is a tool for greater purpose. And when you begin to grasp that, you start to open the door to abundance, freedom, and divine provision. Words are one of the most powerful forces in the universe, yet most people underestimate their impact. Every word you speak carries energy, direction, and creative power. Words are not empty sounds that fade into the air. They are seeds planted into the atmosphere, shaping outcomes and influencing what manifests in your life. This is especially true when it comes to money. What you say about your finances, wealth, and abundance directly affects the spiritual flow of resources into your life. If you speak negatively about money, you build a wall around your blessings. If you speak positively and with faith, you open a door for abundance to enter. Think about it for a moment. When someone constantly repeats phrases like, "I am always broke," or "money is hard to get," they are not simply describing reality. They are reinforcing and creating more of that reality. Their words release vibrations that align with lack, and the spiritual realm responds accordingly. Angels cannot act on words filled with doubt, fear, or negativity because those words are not aligned with divine truth. On the other hand, when you declare statements like, "Money flows to me easily, I am blessed with abundance, I use money to fulfill my purpose," you are aligning yourself with spiritual principles of growth and prosperity. Angels respond to those faith-filled words, setting in motion opportunities, connections, and divine interventions that bring those declarations into reality. Your words set the direction of your financial life, much like a rudder steers a ship. A tiny rudder controls the path of a massive vessel. And in the same way, your words, though small, control the direction of your financial future. Many people wonder why their financial situation never improves, even when they work harder and harder. The answer often lies not in their effort, but in their language. You can work with your hands while your mouth works against you. Hard work alone cannot cancel out the destructive power of negative speech. But when your words and your actions align with faith and clarity, you create a powerful combination that moves the spiritual and material worlds together in your favor. This truth can be seen across cultures and belief systems. Ancient wisdom has always emphasized the creative power of words. Sacred texts say life and death are in the power of the tongue. That means your financial life, your prosperity, and your abundance are literally influenced by what you say every day. You cannot curse money, complain about it, or despise it and then expect it to multiply in your life. Your words set the tone for how money will behave toward you. If you speak lack, money avoids you. If you speak abundance, money comes closer. If you speak as if money is a struggle, it will remain a struggle. But if you speak as if money is a servant that listens, it begins to obey. Another important truth is that words spoken with belief are even more powerful. Empty words have little effect, but when spoken with conviction and authority, they create movement in the spiritual realm. That is why affirmations, declarations, and confessions of faith are so impactful. They are not simply motivational phrases, they are spiritual commands. Each time you repeat them, you are reshaping your reality. Angels, who are assigned to carry out divine instructions, hear those words and move accordingly. This is why you must be intentional about the language you use when talking about money. Stop saying, "I can't afford this," and start saying, "I am creating the resources to have this." Stop saying, "Money never stays with me," and start saying, "Money multiplies and grows in my hands." Stop saying, "I'll always be in debt," and start saying, "I am coming out of debt and stepping into overflow." The shift may seem small, but the impact is enormous. Each word spoken creates a ripple effect that changes your thinking, influences your actions, and sets the spiritual realm into motion. In the end, the truth is clear words are not just communication tools. They are creative forces. They carry spiritual weight and direct the flow of your life, including your financial destiny. When you speak lack, you experience lack. When you speak abundance, you attract abundance. Angels are listening to the authority in your words, ready to move on behalf of what aligns with divine truth. That is why you must guard your tongue, elevate your speech, and fill your mouth with words that declare life, increase, and abundance. When your words carry faith, they do not return empty. They activate spiritual movement, and money responds. Angels are not passive beings. They are messengers and servants of divine law, always ready to carry out assignments aligned with truth and faith. However, they do not respond to fear, doubt, or negativity. This is a critical principle many people miss when they wonder why their prayers or declarations about money seem unanswered. The reality is that angels move only when faith is present. They are activated by authority, by conviction, and by words that agree with divine promises, not by complaints or expressions of worry. Fear shuts the door to angelic activity, while faith throws it wide open. Consider the way fear and faith work. Fear is like static noise. It distorts, blocks, and interferes with the signal of your declarations. When you say, "I will never get ahead financially, money always escapes me," those words are rooted in fear. Angels cannot align themselves with those declarations because fear is not the language of heaven. Fear invites confusion and delay. On the other hand, when you say, "I trust that provision is coming. I know that opportunities are opening. I believe my finances are multiplying," those words carry faith. Faith is the frequency of the spiritual realm. Angels move on those words because they are aligned with divine law, which operates by faith. This principle explains why two people can pray or speak about money and get very different results. The one who speaks with fear and desperation sees little change, while the one who speaks with confidence and faith sees doors opening. The difference is not in how loud or long they speak, but in the spirit behind their words. Angels are not moved by anxiety, they are moved by belief. When you believe that money will serve you, that resources will come, and that your needs will be met, angels are dispatched to ensure those declarations come to life. It is also important to understand that angels are not swayed by emotions alone. You can cry about money, worry about bills, and stress over lack, but none of these emotions activate angelic movement. Only faith does. This is why countless people live in cycles of financial struggle. They feed their words and emotions with fear, which shuts off divine assistance. To break free, you must consciously replace fear with faith. Even when circumstances seem difficult, you must speak what you want to see, not what you currently see. You must align your declarations with abundance, even if your bank account says otherwise. Faith is not denial, it is declaring the higher truth that abundance exists and that it is flowing toward you. Angels move at the sound of faith. because faith demonstrates trust in divine provision. Fear says, I am alone in this. I must figure it all out myself. Faith says, I am supported, I am provided for, and I am never abandoned. That shift in perspective opens the way for supernatural help. Angels respond as if to a command. Because words of faith carry authority, they are empowered to bring new opportunities, inspire fresh ideas, connect you to key people, and even protect your resources from loss. All of this begins with choosing faith over fear in the words you release. You must also be consistent. One moment of fear may not undo everything, but a lifestyle of speaking fear will. Angels respond to steady declarations of faith. Every day you must train your tongue to release life, not death, prosperity, not poverty, trust, not worry. The more consistent you are, the stronger your faith becomes, and the quicker angels move on your behalf. The truth is clear: angels do not move on fear. They move on faith. They do not respond to your doubts, they respond to your declarations of trust. They are not guided by your anxieties. They are guided by your alignment with divine law. If you want to see supernatural movement in your finances, you must shift your language, guard your thoughts, and fill your heart with faith. When fear knocks at your door, answer with faith. When lack tries to speak, silence it with declarations of abundance. And as you do, angels will move swiftly, ensuring that your words of faith manifest in your reality. Money was never meant to be your master. It was created to be your servant, a tool that carries out assignments, not something that dictates your life or controls your decisions. Yet many people unknowingly hand over authority to money by living in fear of losing it, obsessing over chasing it, or allowing it to determine their self-worth. When you begin to understand that money is a servant, not a master, you reclaim the power that was always meant to be yours. This shift is not just practical, it is deeply spiritual, because it aligns you with divine order. A servant exists to obey commands, while a master dictates terms. Too many people let money dictate the terms of their lives. They say, I can't do this because I don't have enough money, or I would pursue my dream, but money is holding me back. This language gives money power it was never designed to have. It is like letting a servant run the household instead of the head of the house. When you place money in the position of a master, you become enslaved to it, working endlessly, worrying constantly, and living small because you think money calls the shots. But when you see money as your servant, you begin to command it with authority, directing it where it should go and what it should accomplish in your life. Seeing money as a servant means understanding its true purpose. Money was created as a medium of exchange, a tool to support your mission, bless your family, and allow you to impact the world. It was never designed to control your choices or define your identity. When you treat it as a servant, you recognize that its role is to follow your instructions. You decide where it will be spent, invested, or given. You direct it toward causes that matter, projects that build your destiny, and purposes that align with your values. Money does not tell you what to do, you tell money what to do. This perspective also brings peace and freedom. When money is seen as a master, people often live in fear. Fear of not having enough, fear of losing it, or fear of never gaining more. Fear creates bondage, and bondage limits growth. But when money is placed back in its rightful position as a servant, fear is replaced with confidence. You know that money will always come when needed, because servants are assigned to fulfill tasks. Instead of chasing money desperately, you call it, you command it, and you trust that it will appear to fulfill the assignment you've given it. This is not arrogance, it is authority. It is stepping into the role of stewardship, where you understand that you were entrusted with resources to manage, not to be managed by them. Speaking to money with authority is how you position it as a servant. Declarations like, money, you will multiply in my hands, or money, you will flow to me to fulfill my purpose, are not empty words. They are commands that set spiritual law into motion. Angels who are assigned to help carry out divine instructions respond to those declarations by aligning opportunities and resources with your words. Money begins to obey because you are speaking as a steward, not as a slave. You are operating from the position of dominion that was always meant for you. There is also a practical dimension to this truth. When you view money as a servant, you manage it with wisdom. You don't waste it recklessly, nor do you hoard it in fear. You give it assignments, whether that's paying debts, funding investments, supporting your family, or sowing into causes that matter. Each dollar is told where to go, and in return, money begins to work for you instead of against you. This mindset separates those who struggle financially from those who prosper. Prosperous people see money as a tool they control. Struggling people often see money as a master that controls them. Ultimately, reclaiming money as a servant is about authority. You are not under the rule of money. Money is under your rule. You are not designed to be enslaved to bills, debts, or limitations. You are designed to direct money as a resource that supports your destiny. When you speak to money, command it, and place it in the role of a servant, you free yourself from the chains of financial fear. You step into abundance, clarity, and purpose because you finally understand money's true position in your life. And when you stand in that authority, angels move, resources align, and money fulfills its role as the faithful servant it was always meant to be. Consistency is the key that unlocks lasting change. And when it comes to commanding money through faith, daily declarations are the practice that activates divine movement. Many people think that speaking to money once or twice in moments of desperation will suddenly transform their financial situation. But the truth is, just like planting seeds, your words need to be sown consistently and watered daily to produce a harvest. Declarations spoken with faith every day begin to build a new reality, not only in the spiritual realm, but also in your mind and actions. This is why daily declarations are not just a motivational exercise. They are a spiritual discipline that sends angels into motion on your behalf. Think of how habits shape your life. If you brush your teeth every day, your health improves. If you exercise regularly, your body transforms. In the same way, when you declare financial abundance every day, your spiritual atmosphere shifts. Each word you speak acts like a deposit in your future. At first, the change may feel invisible, just as a seed in the ground does not sprout overnight. But with consistency, those declarations take root, and angels begin arranging the circumstances, opportunities, and resources that align with what you have spoken. You may suddenly meet the right person, receive an unexpected idea, or discover an open door that was invisible before. None of these things happen by chance. They are the result of consistent faith-filled declarations activating the unseen realm. Daily declarations also reshape your mindset. Money responds to authority, but if your mind is filled with fear and doubt, your words will lack conviction. Repetition builds belief. The more you declare, money multiplies in my hands, money serves my purpose, money comes to me from expected and unexpected places, the more your subconscious accepts it as truth. Once belief is rooted, your actions align. You stop making decisions from fear and start making choices from faith. This alignment between your words, thoughts, and actions makes it easier for angels to carry out your declarations, because you are no longer contradicting yourself. It is important to understand that angels respond to faith-filled consistency, not to occasional bursts of fear-based pleading. If you declare abundance one day, but spend the next week complaining about lack, you send mixed signals into the spiritual atmosphere. Angels are confused by inconsistency because they cannot act on doubt and faith at the same time. This is why consistency is so critical. It builds momentum. Just as a wheel gains speed with steady pushes, your declarations gain power when spoken daily without interruption. Over time, your words gather spiritual weight, and the movement they create becomes unstoppable. Practicality plays a big role here as well. Daily declarations give money a constant reminder of its assignment. If a servant only hears instructions once, it may forget or become idle. But if the master gives clear direction every day, the servant has no choice but to obey. Money functions the same way. It needs to hear your voice consistently so that it knows exactly what to do, where to go, and how to serve you. Angels standing by to enforce divine law, listen to those daily instructions, and ensure that money flows in alignment with your words. Some people think that speaking to money daily is unnecessary, but they forget that life constantly speaks against abundance. The world is filled with messages of scarcity, lack, and fear. News headlines talk about financial crisis, debts, and uncertainty. If you are not actively declaring abundance, you will unconsciously absorb the language of lack. Daily declarations are your shield against negativity. They reset your atmosphere each day and remind both you and the spiritual realm of the truth you choose to live by. The power of daily declarations lies not only in their consistency, but also in the faith behind them. Even if you don't see results immediately, keep declaring. Farmers do not stop watering their fields just because they don't see sprouts after one day. They continue until the harvest comes. Likewise, your daily words build layer upon layer until the breakthrough appears. Angels are listening, aligning, and moving even when you cannot see their work. Your job is to remain steadfast, speaking with authority every day until the manifestation of abundance becomes visible. Ultimately, daily declarations are about training your spirit, your mind, and your words to remain in alignment with abundance. They keep you rooted in faith, they keep angels active, and they keep money in its rightful place as a servant. Every morning when you rise and every night before you sleep, speak to money as though it is listening, because it is. Speak with authority, consistency, and expectation, and you will witness how the unseen responds. Angels move, doors open, resources flow, and your declarations turn into reality. This is why daily faith-filled declarations are not optional. They are essential for activating divine movement in your finances. The language you use is the foundation of the reality you live in. Every word that comes from your mouth is either building the world you desire or reinforcing the world you want to escape from. When it comes to money, this principle becomes even more critical because finances are deeply tied to the words and attitudes you express daily. If your language is filled with fear, scarcity, and doubt, then your financial reality will reflect exactly that. But if your language is filled with authority, abundance, and faith, then you create an atmosphere where money responds positively, angels move on your behalf, and doors of provision open. Changing your language is the first step to changing your reality. Most people speak about money in negative terms without even realizing it. They say things like, "I'll never have enough. Money slips through my fingers." Or, "I'm always broke." These statements may feel harmless in the moment, but they are powerful seeds planted into the soil of life. Every word carries creative force, and the more you repeat those negative declarations, the more they manifest. What you continually confess becomes your experience. It's not just a matter of mindset, it's a spiritual law. Angels cannot act on words rooted in lack or fear, because those words contradict divine abundance. Instead, negative words attract confusion, limitation, and struggle. The solution is simple yet profound. Change your language. Start speaking about money as if it were already aligned with your purpose and serving you faithfully. Instead of saying, "I can't afford this," try saying, "I am creating the resources to afford this." Instead of declaring, "I'm drowning in debt," declare, "I am stepping into overflow and every debt is being cleared." Instead of speaking lack, speak life. This is not about denial, it is about choosing words that align with the abundance available to you in the spiritual realm. Angels respond to those words because they are filled with faith and authority. Changing your language also transforms the way you think and act. When you speak positively about money, you begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles. You notice possibilities where you once saw limitations. Your mindset shifts from being a victim of circumstances to being a steward of resources. That change in mindset influences your decisions. You start managing money with wisdom, investing it with clarity, and giving it with purpose. All of this begins with the words you choose to speak. Words reprogram your mind, and a renewed mind attracts a renewed financial reality. Consistency in language is equally important. You cannot speak abundance one day and then cancel it out with words of lack the next. Angels are activated by faith-filled consistency, not by wavering. Imagine giving a servant instructions. You tell them to go east one moment, and then the next day you tell them to go west. The servant will be confused and unable to carry out the task. Money and angels operate in the same way. When your words are inconsistent, your results are inconsistent. But when your words remain steady, clear, and filled with faith, the spiritual world aligns with precision to fulfill your declarations. Changing your language is not just about words, it is about authority. When you declare abundance with conviction, you are stepping into the role of a master over money rather than a slave to it. You are reclaiming the authority given to you to command resources and direct them where they belong. Angels honor that authority because it mirrors divine order. Money responds to that authority because it was designed to serve, not to rule. The more you speak from that position of authority, the faster your reality shifts. The transformation is undeniable. When you change your language, you change your focus. When you change your focus, you change your actions. When you change your actions, you change your results. It all begins with the words you allow to flow from your mouth. Words are not casual, they are decrees. They carry spiritual weight, and the spiritual realm listens to them carefully. If you want your financial life to shift, then guard your tongue as if it were a weapon, because it is. Speak abundance, speak authority, speak alignment, and watch as angels move and money obeys. Ultimately, your language is the gateway to your reality. Stop cursing money, stop fearing it, and stop treating it as if it controls you. Begin blessing it, commanding it, and declaring that it serves your higher purpose. Speak life into your finances every single day, and over time, you will see the manifestation of those words. Angels will move on your behalf, money will flow in your direction, and your entire financial atmosphere will transform, change your language, and you will change your reality, because in the realm of spirit, your words are the very building blocks of your future.